and he'd run and hurl his whole body into one of the office windows.
Okay. Just because it's not supposed to break.
And just bounce off of it.
Can I guess where this is
like freak him. Yeah, he'd be like, freak him. He'd be like, hey, check this out. And they'd be like, whatever. But then he'd just bounce harmlessly off of it. And he'd be like, yeah, they're built for that. And I guess he did that over and over and over
on the same
again.
Window, because that's real stupid.
I don't know 100% but I think so. Yeah, or something
that's
like
so
that.
Dumb.
All right. What's up, Airheads? Back once again. Time to do it here in the virtual Airstream studios. Putting on airs. Fancy people talk. What are you drinking? What is that?
Well, we are not sponsored by them, but this is a Coors Edge, the official drink of someone who used to be a piece of shit.
So that's a non-alcoholic beer.
That's a non-alcoholic, baby. That's all I do now, and I love it.
One time, me and my buddy Charles, you know Charles.
I know Charles.
We was all fucked up and probably high and everything too. This was years ago, and we were in a gas station and saw Bush non-alcoholic, which that's
just gross for no reason.
At this time was just called. It just said Bush and had a big red NA on it.
Yeah,
and we
they're allowed to drink it.
We started this whole thing, this whole like riffing thing about that, Bush nah.
Bush nah.
It's like, yeah. Are you tired of saying Bush? Yeah. Is saying Bush yeah ruining your life? Try saying Bush nah.
Bush nah.
And we thought that was the funniest fucking thing in the world. We still bring that up sometimes.
That was John Kerry's campaign, I think.
Yeah, Bush nah.
Bush nah.
Yeah.
Now, if he had some, hey, speaking of that, and we don't get political on this show, but man, I mean, I missed Well Read this week, which is when I normally would have brought it up, but I can't not bring it up. So, my office is in my sister's house, right up here in the attic. Mm-hmm. And the attic, I've cleared it out mostly to make me a little space, and they're like, oh yeah, all the stuff up there is just, things we don't need anymore. Like one thing you can see back there is an autographed picture of Bo Duke made out to my brother-in-law's grandma. So this is just where just stuff got
placed. Is he the one that is now super political, super right-wing? Like that's his thing?
Yeah,
I didn't know
it worked out.
Bo or Luke or what, but I knew that one of them was.
Yeah.
He's on that tip now.
Yeah, and this was before any of all that, though. This was like, she's been dead for a while, so like she was just on they always knew with that sumbitch. But also I found something that, man, I tell you, I saw it and I got conflicted feelings on it. Because like it's not like I bought it, and it's not like I'm displaying it anywhere. But check out this belt buckle. Check out that guy.
The Confederate States of America.
Yeah.
The Southern Cross of what?
What's the Southern Cross of Honor, and it's got the story on the back that says, the Confederate Congress approved an act on October 13th, 1862 to honor the officers, non-commissioned officers, and privates for their valor in the armies of the Confederate States. During the war, however, there were shortages of medals, and many medals were not minted or awarded. The names of these soldiers were, however, recorded in an honor roll and preserved in the Adjunct Inspector General's records. The Southern Cross of Honor was actually conceived by Mrs. Alexander S. Irwin in July of 1898 while attending a reunion of the Confederate veterans in Atlanta. She is credited with the design of the medal. This was a grift. They made and sold these.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, in the 1800s, they were like back then they didn't have enough metal to give the boys, so we've made these honorary medals right here, and the money will go to the Daughters of the Confederacy. This was Trump money from a long time ago.
Okay, but that is that not a belt buckle?
This is a belt buckle, yeah.
Okay, but it's a belt buckle made. It's like a belt buckle replica of the thing that you
of the metal,
described.
Yeah, that I just described. And I mean, goes.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this plenty of times over the year, well, ever since that it happened. But like you said, you were like, I didn't buy this. I'm not displaying it anywhere. It's at my sister's attic or whatever. But like when I cleaned out the house that I grew up in Salina to sell it, it was like truly comical, the amount of rebel flag, paraphernalia I found, which again, far and away the best one was a picture of an alien, a green, like classic gray alien, except his skin was green alien, smoking a cigarette, like with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, with a Confederate soldier uniform on, standing in front of the Stars and Bars. And it's like the 13-year-old me was like, that's the fucking goddamn raddest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Nothing could ever be cooler than that fucking picture right there.
I hate to be like this, but like, if it had been the same thing, except it was a Union soldier alien, they wouldn't have hit us hard.
No, it wouldn't be near as funny. Of course not.
No, it wouldn't. It would be like more acceptable, but less hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that the aliens would use those dumb
the South, yeah, right, is hilarious. I'd be like, we really bet the wrong horse this time, huh? Like
they got down here. They're like, oh man, they don't like them here either. That checks out.
Yeah,
we're on their side.
I mean, the thing is, most movie versions of aliens,
are the Confederates. Yeah,
because they want to enslave us, or what? They're like, you guys are right, slaves do hit, and then they're like,
right.
and then they're like, what they don't know is we're going to turn them all into slaves after this is over. But
ours has nothing to do with color.
But yeah, for now, we'll just, we'll get on board with the slave guys because slaves hit for us too. As aliens, we subjugate races across the galaxy.
Thing that really screwed the whole slavery thing. Like if they had just done like, and I know what their argument would be, but just like anyone who don't hit, regardless of color, be slaves. It'd be a better look. They might could have saved
anyone who don't hit.
Anyone who just don't hit. You know what I mean? Like, and by the way, that wouldn't have been right. I'm just saying, I think slavery would have lasted 200 years if it was 200 years longer if it was merit based instead of skin color based.
Merit based. How do you have merit based slavery?
You just go like, that guy don't hit, make him a slave.
You know what I mean? They want slaves that do hit.
Yeah, no, I mean they don't hit as people. You know what I mean? Like they could row a hoe. I'm talking about prison. Is what I'm talking about.
Well, that's our current system.
But what I'm saying
you're right. I guess they figured that out. Sometime around the mid 1800s, they're like, well, you know what we could just do. And then they were like, how about we might just only use people that don't hit as slaves?
Well, then I actually just answered my own
thing. You landed on it 160 years later or whatever.
I did. But my thing, you know what the funny thing is, I said, if they'd have done it like that from the jump, I said, I think slavery would have lasted at least 200 more years, but like they just rolled right into it. You know what I mean? Like, and also Trae, do you know that, fucking college football was created only 2 years after slavery was abolished. Don't tell me that them guys wasn't just like, we'll figure out a way to get them back there and making us money. You know what I mean? It was a long game, but college football gets started. They're like, we can have these players come in. They make this money a whole buku of money. Now, they didn't let the blacks play
I was about to say, I mean, I don't think that's true because it took them 100 goddamn years before they even let black dudes play.
But it was still a form of slavery, and that was reverse merit. That was merit-based slavery right there. But it was white people. You hit, you come here, be our slave, and then you might get to go play in the hadn't even been created NFL. But if so, you're gonna be wearing a goddamn pig helmet.
Yeah, it's not exactly slavery.
Well, it's not a 1-to-1. No, sure, yeah, I'll give you that.
Because football hits. Slavery don't hit.
No, said it a million times on the show.
Right. Slavery don't hit.
9/11, slavery.
Hitler.
9/10 does kind of hit, but 9/11 don't. Hitler, October 7th, whatever. I'm just, all these things, they don't hit.
But, yeah, right. So, the Romans, okay, they didn't.
Don't even get me started.
Right. Well, they didn't have. Of course, this had, I don't think, much of anything to do with their downfall. So I guess that maybe is a point in your favor. They didn't. Their
downfall's when they started speaking more than one language. You can look it up.
Their slavery wasn't, like race based at all. Mm-hmm. It was what you just said. It was, people that didn't hit per their societal standards, and you could be any color and be a slave. Yeah. And again, I mean, Spartacus tried his best, but they didn't. they pretty much just rolled with that for years, I reckon, and it wasn't no big deal to like. Of course, it was 2,000 years ago, but I'm saying it didn't. Nothing about the downfall of the Roman Empire or anything like that. I don't think had anything to do with their particular approach.
They should get a month, the not hitting Greek month. You know what I mean? To honor all the not hitting Greeks from that time. Well,
why and why'd you say Greek?
Romans. I mean Romans.
Well, Romans essentially were just like, hey, if we got to figure out all this stuff about what we think and do and are.
Yeah.
Or we could just do what the Greeks did and rename it, and that'd be way easier.
Yeah. And Romans were just tan Greeks. Really. Yeah.
And then the Greeks became, because the Romans overtook the Greeks and the Greeks became Rome. Dude. And then most of the civilized world at the time and many of the uncivilized parts of the world became Rome, as everybody knows. And then I think they just spread themselves a little too thin.
Okay, bro. Walk with me here. Okay. I'm going to take you on a little journey. Now, I must preface this by saying to the list earlier, we had mentioned of things that don't hit, 9/11, genocide, all that stuff. I think we usually would add war. War as a concept don't hit, right? But reading about war and watching movies
or
about
listening
war,
to heavy metal songs about war
is the greatest.
They all hit real hard.
They almost make war a thing that I'm like, it's necessary in order for all this other cool shit to happen. So we've seen footage.
Some wars are entirely necessary. World War II 100% was necessary.
Sure, and we'll talk about that. But that's not what I'm just saying. Like, obviously, the world would be better if none of that had to happen and it was just peace.
Of course.
We think that. We
hairless monkeys, and that just ain't the way things are going to be.
Yeah, but we think that, but then it's like, no, Amon, Marth. You know what I'm saying? Like, what world I don't want to live in. Anyways, we've got the historical documentation of World War II was like the first, war to be caught in camera. World War I a little bit, but then Vietnam was broadcasted live to people's TV. Iraq, dude, we saw that stuff on the internet. We tune in every day to Twitter now, and we're seeing drone bombings, all this type of stuff. My point is like it was covered, and we do, whether it be masochism or what, we eat that shit up. We love watching stuff about war. Now imagine, dog, you could have been alive during the time with the same 24-hour news access and Twitter stuff when the Greeks and the Romans was going up against each other. That would have been the most fucking hitting ass Ken Burns fucking war ever. Would it not have been?
Yeah. Instead, you just had to stand outside of a villa and wait for a young twink to finish running 125 miles without stopping before collapsing at your feet and expiring as a scroll rolls out of his hand. And that was how you got your news about what was going on with the war, it was written in that scroll. Yeah, it would have hit harder if there was Reddit at the time, a subreddit for it.
That kid's like, "Can I have some water? I got to sprint back and
just kick him in a whale." Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying though, dog.
We talked about this on
the war.
We talked about this on Well Read, not that specific, and not exactly that way, but it would work the same way. The idea that we were talking about aliens earlier, the idea that it's because there's been a lot of talk over recent years. It's cooled off right now, but I bet it'll pop back up again. A lot of people have been like, fucking, it's happening. They're here. There's aliens now, whatever, which I've been ready for. But the idea that if and when aliens do show up and present themselves, and also if they are, cool, the idea that they went, well, I don't know I would argue that if there's any truth to any of this stuff people have been saying for the past few years, I don't.
Well, they have to be cool,
pretty much, because they
would have just nuked us.
Right. What if they're not? If they don't, at the very least, if they don't have a hands-off policy, it doesn't mean that they give a shit about us, but they're just we don't engage. then what?
That'd be
then
my
what?
policy.
Then what are they doing? But like, well, that's just the prime directive from Star Trek. You know,
Yeah.
you don't interfere.
Don't interfere.
But
Yeah,
like,
don't interfere.
so you know, that's plausible.
People need to
in my
live by
opinion.
the prime directive, dude.
Yeah, but anyway, if they did show up and if they were cool and if they come down and they're like, guess what? We're aliens. We're here. Hey, you know, we'll show you how to make a faster than light drive or how to make portals or whatever else. And all that's sweet too. Oh, by the way, we've been observing your planet for like
a millennia,
5,000 years. And, you know, so if you want to like see any of that footage or whatever, you know, we've got it all archived. Like, how insane
Wilt Chamberlain's game.
Be?
First fucking thing.
Yeah,
First fucking thing. That's what would be on the internet viral. We're finally going to see Wilt. It's fucking bullshit. It never happened.
But again, this is literally just the same conversation we had, but I do think it was on well read.
I don't care.
The issue with that is that, like, what are they watching everywhere all the time? You know what I'm saying? Like you could be like, do you have the crucifixion? And they would be like, well, we were looking at fucking what was would be Australia at the time.
Well, but nano cameras.
They were stacking some rocks down there. It was pretty cool. We didn't realize Jesus was going to be a big deal. We thought this rock thing was going to be a big deal in Australia. So we went with that instead. But if we had to do over, we definitely would have been on the Jesus thing. But we kind of screwed that up.
We were actually over filming Mary Magdalene's double penetration scene. First one in history.
It's just nothing but sex. Like from caveman days on through, it's just doggy style and butt fucking footage for 2000. And they're like, don't that hit stomach?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to see Cleopatra get fucked, we can do that.
You ain't got like no Gettysburg Address, nothing like that. Like, no. We got Mary Todd Lincoln getting deep throating Abe Lincoln. But anyway. So the only way that could or would work would be like in that it's based on one of my favorite sci-fi series, but it's now a Netflix show. That Netflix show, Three Body Problem, the first
season.
So
good. I started reading the book, by the way, because of you.
It's fire.
It's hard to read.
Well, it's translated from Chinese. I feel like you have to get used to that.
There's certain iterations that don't kind of play, but I'm with it, you know.
I definitely think some things sort of get lost in translation or whatever, but the story, the narrative, and everything is fucking fire. Especially that series goes in such wildly insane places. I have no idea how D&D are gonna portray that on a TV show when they get to that point. But anyway,
don't worry, they can screw it up.
Right. Well, they didn't really screw up anything that was written down.
I know,
and
you're
right. This
series,
that's why I'm like optimistic about
it.
It's
based on great source material.
This series is finished.
Right.
And they didn't fuck anything up on Game of Thrones until they got past the point of where the books
I
were.
forgive them for the record. I was just joking.
Yeah, but
that's a hard job.
Anyway, there's a narrative device in that show in the book series and whatever, this is hand wavy magic sci-fi stuff, but it's these things called sophons that they are like quantum particles that so essentially they literally are observing everywhere at every point and every time on Earth. The aliens are the whole time.
The Watcher from Marvel.
That's the only way that you could ever have that happen with aliens if they were observing us, is they'd have to have something like that in real life for there to be footage of any chosen moment in human history. But just how fucking cool would that be, though, if there was that?
Okay, let's for real sit here and try to get 10 of our, and I'll go first so you can be thinking of yours. 10 of our, if we could see this, like obviously we can't interfere, we can just see this. I would love to be a fly on the wall for that legendary game where Jake the Snake stayed out at the bar all night and was, reading the playbook under the neon lights, didn't sleep any, and goes and drops 4 on the Chargers or whatever, just to live beside him through that night to really see how impressive that feat is. I'm not saying this in a funny way, like, really, you don't want to go kill Hitler? I mean this. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be rad. I mean, I was thinking like Julius Caesar getting killed or something.
I said 10. I said 10.
A Raiders game would also hit. Yeah. I think mine would be a lot of chalk. Like Caesar's assassination, Jesus' crucifixion, because it's like for one thing,
you could stab him again.
Well, for one thing, it'd be like see how not white he is?
You're right.
All you fucking people.
And also, this isn't happening.
Yeah, well, that too. It's like, right. You could say, like, well, can I see Jesus getting crucified? And they're like, 404 file not found or whatever. It's like, that's not coming up for some reason. But yeah, well, that would answer a very important question. So it's still on the list. I'd like to watch a time lapse or a montage of the pyramids being built.
That would hit.
Stonehenge too. Because, just answer. And then aliens be like, well, that's, that was Dave. They point to another alien over there. Dave, come here. Tell him how you built the pyramid.
Yeah.
They were here the whole time.
I would be in the crowd at Def Jam when Bernie Mac did the "I ain't scared of you motherfuckers."
Right.
Like to be in that crowd and actually see, because on TV it translates out.
You said kill Hitler a minute ago too. You're like transporting yourself there.
Yeah, in these moments. Yeah,
I'm saying it's like
it's footage.
It's security footage.
I know it's security
footage. You can watch it. Maybe you can put on a VR helmet and watch it.
No. I assume if it's
they've 360 got view.
But I assume if they've got the security footage, they would have done it with nano camera technology, which you would be able to view in 360.
Well, I just said maybe you put on a VR helmet and there's a 360 view. But that's what I mean. Well, that's still not okay. But I say that's still not.
Yeah, I'm not going back in time, but like you get to experience those moments, Now that one, obviously, I shouldn't waste it on it because we can see that regular, but like being in that crowd would be something.
But see, that's the thing though. Like, do you know that there's in a real life crowd, there is a literal energy that can be felt and stuff.
Yeah.
Even if you had if you had a VR helmet on and a 360 view, you're not going to feel
translate.
That.
Right.
It's just going to be watching the footage you've seen a million times over, but from a different perspective.
Okay. Not that one then. The Jake the Snake one, though, that still stands. I would also, speaking of a completely different Jake the Snake Roberts, I would like to see the rumored interaction that they had before WrestleMania 3, I think, where, have you heard this story? So they're going to Jake the Snake's going to do the spot where he makes the snake bite Macho Man. Well, Macho Man.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that. That moment is one of the only moments from like watching wrestling as a small child that's like seared in my memory.
It's one of the most iconic
moments of all time. He has the snake bite Macho Man. Yes. By the way, you're talking about Kenny Stabler, right? The game.
Kenny Stabler from the first story, but this one,
the snake. Kenny Stabler, the snake.
Yeah,
that you was calling him Jake the Snake, and then you.
My bad. I meant the snake. Yeah.
So I thought you were going with Jake the Snake Roberts to begin with, but now you're there. So go ahead.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So this interaction between Jake the Snake Roberts and Macho Man that apparently happened before they did that spot. Macho Man was so coked out of his mind and like paranoid that he thought Jake was going to try to kill him, even though he told him, he's like, that thing, is it gun its venom out? And Jake's like, yeah, man, I don't ever try. He's been de-venom. And he's like, let it bite you right now. Right. So Jake the Snake has to sit there and let the snake bite him. And then Macho Man made him stand still for like 30 minutes, being like, no paramedics come in. I don't want to see him going for any anti-venom. And this happened before one of like the biggest shows ever. And that's why that becomes an iconic moment. I would love to see that actually go down. That would be amazing.
Here's a deep cut. I'd like to see Jake the Snake. I'd like to see exactly.
Are these all going to be Jake the Snake?
Well, I'd like to see how that one snake he had apparently killed itself. Because I've never understood one of the all the shit that he's done. I was about to say all the stuff he has done since. Don't touch how mad I was at Joe Rogan when he was interviewing Jake the Snake Roberts, and Jake the Snake said he had one of his cobras or one of those snakes that he was like, and then later it killed itself. And Joe Rogan just literally didn't even acknowledge that. Yeah. Just kept going like he hadn't even said it. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? A snake killed itself? Please ask him to elaborate on what the fuck that means. And he didn't do it. And now the world may never know.
And there's two things here. First off, if Jake was being funny, Rogan didn't laugh.
Well, that's each and every episode, no matter who's sitting there. That's like his one of his defining features.
And like, Jake, I can sort of tell when he's kidding, and like the way he said it was like, and that snake later killed itself. Like he said it stone faced, like that man was not kidding. And yeah, even though Joe Rogan technically the world has called him a journalist, he's not a journalist, but like, what human being on earth, especially that's like into marijuana and bison stuff, isn't like, excuse me, your snake killed itself?
I know that, right? I know it makes no sense. Never understood. He had to have just like not heard it or something,
or just been way too high.
Yeah, or that. Well, I feel like if you're high and someone says a snake killed itself, then you're even more, unlikely to just breeze by that.
Yeah, that's true.
If you be stoned, I mean, good Lord.
You got any interest in seeing the Kennedy assassination and being able to piece together, like, okay, where'd that come from? Like,
well, again,
you're seeing it, but
what you could do if they have these SoFon things, it can record footage from essentially anywhere at any time. You can put yourself in the book depository.
That's true.
In the room,
and
like
see
when it happens, you could watch it from there, so you could see all that.
You could see that there is no possible way that Lee Harvey Oswald could then 30 seconds later be on the third floor drinking a Coke. You could finally see that.
Right. It would.
Mark's an idiot.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not at all learned on it. I just know that, again, and I know you know this too, and I didn't think you thought this guy was an idiot. It's just that you very much disagree on this front. But like Mark, I know you also read that Stephen King book. At the end of that book, Stephen King has an afterword or an epilogue or whatever, a word from the author at the end of it, where he tells that he's like, this has been a lifelong fascination of mine, this thing. I've wondered out about it for forever. I hate doing research, but this story in particular is like, I had been researching it my whole life, but I dug into it again for real to write this story. It's 11/22/63 is what's called. It's a book about, partly about, it's really a fucking mid-century love story, but it's about the Kennedy assassination. Everybody loved it. I wasn't a huge fan, mostly because of all the love stuff. But anyway,
I grew to love it. I'm a romantic.
But he was like, to write this book, I read everything there is to read. I dug into it hardcore. He was like, and he said, I was part of the reason I was so fascinated by this is because I had been a skeptic my whole life. I was like, something's up with this and not about it, whatever. He was like, by the time I'd finished all this and written this book and everything, at the end of the day, gun to my head, I have to think, my honest opinion is Lee Harvey Oswald did it. And that's what Mark says too. And I haven't done all that research, but I like and respect Stephen King.
Okay.
And Mark is a prick, but we call him Smart Mark because he's like, Mark is literally the smartest person that I know. And so
no, he's so not.
Who is
that you know a lot more, dude. T-Bone's smarter than that motherfucker.
Okay, what depends? T-Bone is like a genius.
Yes, and Mark is not even close at anything.
But like Lamar Jackson is a football genius. Is he smarter than Mark?
Absolutely.
Like in just a general sense?
Almost everyone is smarter than Mark when it comes to this. And let me tell you something. On the Stephen King front, me and you are proof that just because someone can write prose doesn't mean they're not otherwise a dipshit. He's a fucking moron.
That's insane.
And I love Stephen King.
He's definitely not a moron.
He is.
And Mark is not a moron either.
Mark is. These people believe they are Trae. Both of these people are MSNBC, CNN, mainstream media, man. They just want to believe what's out there. Mark, you know what it is? It's cool. No, it's cool to not think that there was a conspiracy. It's turned back around. Right? Mark is being contrarian because now everyone's a conspiracy theorist. Therefore, everyone is stupid. Right? Mark thinks everyone is stupid. Used to, conspiracy theories were the fringe, which would have been Mark. But now they are the mainstream, and Mark is the type of person that screams when a new Fast and the Furious comes out. You know what I mean? Like, he can't stand shit that people like.
He loves those movies.
No, I know. That was a bad example. That's a bad example, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, something like that.
We can't talk about this because it's all we're going to talk about this episode.
How how many different people know the real answer, and how have they actually kept it a secret this whole time?
No, I don't know. I don't have a definitive answer for
Somebody's
what exactly.
got to, because it's
No,
like,
I know
because
that.
if it wasn't him, like someone did. If there's a conspiracy, it was a plan put into action by somebody, and not literally just one person, but
I
a group
agree.
of people.
I think those people were killed.
Me and Drew were just talking about this on Well Read because of what happened last week, and Drew's buying conspiracies about that, which whatever, dear Lord, let's not get into that. But he was talking about that, and I was saying, it's like, it's like that cliche if everybody says, it's like, 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead or whatever.
Right.
And it's just like something of that magnitude, the number of people that would have to be involved that would know a version of the truth. That's like,
were killed.
but that would leave a trail or whatever too, because there's so many eyes on it or whatever. It's just, I don't know. It's just hard for me to believe.
It was before cell phones and shit. They literally could just burn evidence. They could just burn evidence. And bro, they just would put women.
Nothing has been looked into more than that. And I know that there's a lot of like theories about it, but nobody's. If there was some other definitive answer, I just feel like somebody would have figured it out or proved it by now.
There's just no way he could have been in that spot.
So, I mean,
I'm going to do a whole podcast episode on this, but it ain't going to be on this one because it will go too long.
Episode?
Yeah.
Our buddies over there at fucking last podcast on the left, I think they did like 10.
It'll be a 12-parter. It'll be a 12-parter
or something like that.
Yeah.
Just on that subject. But let's take at least a break, maybe one of 2, but I don't know, maybe not. Maybe just this break. We'll take this break, work from our sponsors, come back. We'll see you in just a minute.
Our next sponsor needs no introduction. You've seen the ads and you've heard us talk about it a million times. I'm talking about my wiener, right? And I bet there's a big part of you, pun intended, that wants to try it. I'm talking about Blue Chew, baby, and it ain't your grandpa's wiener pill. This is the one, the OG chewable tablet for better sex. I've been using it for about 8 years, and it gives me the confidence because I'm a stressed out guy. I've got anxiety, and sometimes I can't always be in the moment. But with a Blue Chew, you chew it and do it. And also, it comes in a very discreet package, so I don't have to get grief from nobody in my town. Nobody knows what's going on. No one knows that my dick is on the gear. You know what I'm saying? They delivered discreet to you, and the pharmacists are online. That means you ain't got to visit nobody. You ain't got to talk to nobody except somebody on a screen. Blue Chew wants you to have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. A lot of people ask me, they say, Corey, does it work? Right? Does Blue Chew work? And I'm always like, it makes my dick harder than trying to pronounce countries that ain't the one I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Blue Chew wants the entire country rock hard. They told me that's the mission. They're not going to stop till every man is bricked up like a brick house, till every tent is pitched, till every rod is raised. Discover your options at BlueChew.com, and we got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when you use our promo code POA at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code POA to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details, important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast and Trae.
Get you a new dick. All right, and we're back. You remember how? Of course, you remember.
I don't know.
We were writing the book around here and over yonder, and when we were like pitching it, we were like, what we could, obviously there's no way they're going to say yes to this. Of course, this is insane.
This is stupid.
But we could tell the publisher, like, how about y'all pay for us to go to the UK for the first time, and we'll write about that.
Yeah.
And we were like, that's barely even an idea, and they're going to see right through that. There's no way they're going to go for it. And they were like, well, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they did. And so it worked once. This is much, 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 much harder, much taller order.
Whatever it is, I think I can do it.
But like, we ought try to do that with like a travel show, essentially. Like,
yes, we should.
Like you brought this up recently talking about Carl
Pilkington, an
or whatever.
idiot abroad.
But
Yeah.
but the concept of this is like
2 idiots abroad.
Pretty much, but it's that
learning about other people's culture and making sure that people don't think that our culture is just guns and shooting people.
In keeping with this, because we have this podcast to point to as part of the like pitch or whatever.
Yeah.
it's not just other cultures or whatever. And this is what makes it an even more egregious pitch to make people be like, do you think we're fucking getting it started in here? But the pitch is that we are, it's the pitch of the show, but for a travel show. Like we go to like the White Lotus and places like that.
Yes.
Like super, super, super fancy shit.
The ice weddings.
And they film us doing it.
Yes.
And just really hicking it up in all these real fancy people places.
We've got to do
because you were just
that.
talking recently about when Leslie Jones put you up in a fine ass hotel in Charleston and you being trashing it up in the lobby and making people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like that, but as a TV show, in multiple places.
Dude.
Because I genuinely think that's a like a good idea.
That is a good idea.
And we definitely are right.
We're the people for it.
So it just, I think we should just give that a shot. Obviously, this is normally an off camera conversation, but I thought that if I said this, it might, whatever people
put it into the world.
Put it out there into the world.
And the fine people that run our Reddit should post a thing about it, and we'll see if we can get some cross posts. And hey, start tweeting about it. Tweet at all the networks you like. These guys should do this show. That would be, dude. I'll be honest with you. I've always I see a bunch of like Jason Alexander clips and stuff because like one of the only things I use my YouTube premium for is to look at like compilations of like the best of Kramer or the best of Jerry Stiller, like this is, and Fleetwood Mac concerts. Like that's my YouTube thing. So it shows me a bunch of Costanza clips, and I'm of two minds about the type of actor that Jason Alexander is, and none of it was by choice. He self-admittedly, he said, I never wanted this to be my life. He said, when I was dreaming, I was accepting the Tony Award. I wasn't accepting an Emmy. I wasn't even accepting an Oscar. I was accepting a Tony. He said, and there were several times on the show I got mad because they would, exclude me from a scene. And I genuinely had the attitude of like, if you don't need me, I don't need you because this is what I do. You know what I mean? And so doing a sitcom was sort of a step down from him. And I think of it in two minds of like, I see how one role couldn't fulfill you if this is something you wanted to do your whole life. But then at the same time, I go, yeah, but one lick, my God, you're one of one. And I have thought about that. And I have decided that even though I've been someone who wanted to do multiple projects in my career, if we just had this show that you just described, that would be my dream for the rest of my life. I would do that fucking show until I was in the dirt. Like, that's exactly what I want to do. You just crystallized my whole dream.
Yeah, it would hit real hard. That Jason Alexander thing, I just watched you watched that new Denzel movie, right?
Not yet. No, I'm trying to get Amber to watch it with me, but if not, I'm going to watch it tonight because there's no way it don't hit. It's a Denzel Spike Lee joint.
It's, dude. I'll say this: it is. It in my opinion, it sure is interesting. Like it's
really.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. You watch it, and you
was he trying to do a thing and it just didn't work,
bro? I don't know. It like.
If somebody tries to do a thing and it just don't work, I still appreciate the attempt of the doing.
I did not like it, but there's a lot of choices in it and stuff and whatever. Where I'm like, what is? But anyway,
is it because Denzel's just in his I don't give a fuck phase?
He seems to be a little I don't give a fucky, yeah. But there's just I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything or whatever, but you just have to watch it. And people love it. It's got like 85% on both tomatoes and popcorn.
Yeah, I thought so.
It does. But I thought I don't know. It's just kind of wild. But anyway, Dean Winters is in that movie.
Yeah, I love Dean Winters.
Right,
the king of cameo.
I did not know that. It's
because he's huge on cameo
because he's Mayhem. Is that why?
Oh, dude, Dean. I was thinking of Dean Norris from Breaking Bad.
Oh,
Dean Winters from Mayhem. Yeah, no, he's not on cameo that I know of. But I mean, I think of him as Duffy from 30 Rock. But yes, from Mayhem and Oz.
I was about to say Oz is the main thing that I always thought of him from and knew him from. But character actor's been around a long time. But he's He's mayhem in those.
And that's who he is.
In those right. He's like mayhem, like me. He's been that guy for
Flow.
It's got to be 15 plus years now, right?
Yeah.
And I've always wondered with that guy because he has been otherwise successful. He's in that Denzel movie, but he's like that's one of the things. It's like he's like literally the only white character in it.
Yeah.
And he is such a cartoonish fucking prick. Like, it's hilarious.
I bet he hits at it.
Yeah, right. But anyway, he's I've always wondered, like, that's like such easy money for him for 20 years.
Dude.
Like, what a sweet gig. But I've always wondered, it's
money.
like, does he have that kind of actory attitude about it where he's
like now I'm just mayhem?
Yeah, like this isn't.
I didn't sign up to be a mascot.
Art. This isn't my art. This is right.
Right.
I've always wondered what that guy thinks about that.
I feel like
particular.
If you feel too much about it, you could have quit after year 10.
Well, like J.K. Simmons.
Flo's the same way.
Yeah, but Flo never really did much of anything else, right? I'm not saying she didn't do nothing.
No, actually, yeah, that's true.
J.K. Simmons
never
really did much of anything else other than the AT&T commercial, and they're both like set for life. Good for them.
But I'm just saying they still
J.K.
wanted
Simmons
to do
was like one of the dudes.
Right.
Before he even started doing those farmers.
Which is crazy, yeah.
So at least some of them are like, fuck it, a check's a check. You know,
I mean,
but then some of them are like, this is not artistically fulfilling.
Yeah.
And I'm, selling myself out. And
I tend to like
which one is which.
I tend to like used to I didn't, but now I like a check's a check guy.
For sure.
Because I'm a
Michael
worker.
Caine was a checks guy.
I've never seen Joe's Story, but I've seen the house it bought me in Paris, and it is lovely.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's amazing. Yeah, like Harrison Ford, I saw that he's one of them dudes too. I saw 2 interviews, one where he was talking to like on a nerd interview about becoming the Red Hulk. And they go, man, you're a serious actor or whatever, but when they put those dots on you, like, how does that make you feel? Do you just feel embarrassed, like this is beneath you? And he goes, hey, let me tell you a secret. That's what the money's for. And he's like, no, I don't. He goes, so the money makes all that embarrassment. And Harrison Ford goes, poof, gone. He goes, I feel none. I feel zero. And then this was during the Blade Runner 2049 presser. This lady goes, so what was it that intrigued you about this new script? And he said, the money. He said, it was the money. I did it because they paid me. And I was like, I respect that, man.
Yeah, I do too. But right. But yeah, so that, but yeah, I agree that having that show and that show hitting for people would be like, okay,
I'm good.
Let's do this for 10 years and I'll just wrap it up.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We'll have themed restaurants after that. Like the fancy trash restaurant where you have like deviled eggs with like crumbled blue cheese and buffalo sauce on them and shit like that. The Puttin on Air's restaurant.
I can already think of one impediment to it off the top of my head because I think about this a lot. I've talked about it on here. And it is relevant to the show. I know that like most people want to be on TV and want publicity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we're talking about doing like legit fancy people stuff.
Yeah. We blur their faces.
Most of I'm saying they won't let us in the door, like literally.
Well,
like if they'll be like no, because they're like we don't need any publicity. We already have a very wealthy clientele that makes good money, and
well, what if we have to Trojan horse
by letting these 2 trash? But but
Trojan horse.
But that defeats the purpose.
The purpose, yeah. No, we'll find in the Instagram age, dude. We'll find enough places that, like, there obviously are still some closed door places that it's like only the Skull and Bones can get in. But like in the Instagram age, there's still places that'll let us do it.
But I think, and here's what I was alluding to when I said like I've thought about this a lot and I've talked about it on here. I think that a great many of those places are fraudulent. They really are is they're aimed at people who are not fancy, but want to do a fancy people thing and think this is how the other half lives, but it ain't. But like actual fancy people wouldn't be caught fucking dead,
of course,
doing a lot of that shit. And that's what a lot of those Instagram versions of it are. I think if we were to like do this show, I'd want to do like the real version, but I feel like the real version of that society would be like, we don't allow their
if we get
or just even like it's a comedy show, it's a unscripted reality comedy shows starring two redneck idiots. I just feel like people in that world would be like, we politely decline.
I think we're being.
We don't want to participate.
I think we're generalizing here because some of the I've watched podcasts with Thomas Keller, and he's got a real good sense of humor. Like he's actually got a real, and him and other like Marco and all those dudes, like they've got a pretty. I mean, they definitely take what they do seriously, like they do when they're in there, but they have pretty good sense. Like you can tell they all at one point were a line cook. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And I think obviously we get the fan support behind us. Send us those emails at puttingonairs@gmail.com and we get enough internet traction. I mean, weirder things have happened. Trae, we wrote 2 books. We had we've got way more business doing this than we ever did writing 2 fucking books. You know, can we take another break? Because I'll be honest with you, I need to take the edge off.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Fall's here, crisp air, football, maybe a bonfire, 2, 3, 4. Depends on how hard you hit, I guess. But if you're like most guys, not me and Cho, but most guys, you put in a lot of hard work each and every day. We work our brains hard, but but we don't. But the thing is, I don't have to work all that hard to get to stanking. I've just, I can find my way there even by just like waddling slowly through airports for a day or 2.
Yeah,
I'll still end up stanking. Yeah, I got the stanking in me. Like it's just
I got stank on it.
Yeah, it's just something that I have, but I don't. If you meet me, you won't know that because I keep it under control, and I do that in part with Mando. Mando been with us for a while. We appreciate them, and they hit Mando deodorant plus sweat control is for people that work hard, build up a sweat, get to stanking, and don't want to stank no more. Mando's formulated to stop odor before it starts, and it doesn't mask odor with some overwhelming fragrance either. So you can tackle anything from the job site to tailgating with all the confidence in the world. Don't mask the stank. Mando the stank. I took a shower right before I came out here, put on my Mando, walked out the door. That's what I did. I got Mando all over deodorant rocking.
Otherwise, you'd still stink.
Yes, that is true. That's sort of the central thesis, the thesis statement of this particular read that we're doing here, is that Mando's the only thing keeping me from the depths of the stank abyss.
It has defied God, this product.
But I'm wearing my Mando all over deodorant right now. It hits. I like Mando that because they switch it up. They got every kind of anti-stank you could imagine. They've got like your standard stick deodorants. They have cream deodorants. They have these really cool deodorant wipes that you can use. That you could just wipe the stank off your balls and tank and stuff if you're sort of pressed for time. So they got you covered every which way and all up and down too. I'm a big fan. It's not typical deodorant. It's clinical strength, 2 times better at controlling sweat than the standard. It controls both sweat and odor for up to 72 hours. And after just 12 hours, underarm sweat was reduced by 92%. The stuff really works.
It's almost 93.
It is almost 93, which is very high. It doesn't just mask odor, it prevents it. 100% of study participants experienced all-day odor protection. That's 100%, y'all. And it's not loaded with chemicals either. Mando only uses premium ingredients to keep you fresh and dry. Mando's starter pack is perfect for any new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash or the deodorant wipes, the aforementioned deodorant wipes. And it also includes free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use the code POA at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. That's shopmando.com. Shopmando.com. Use the promo code POA for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. Support our show. Tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness.
Still smell good. Boy, I tell you what, nothing on earth says piece of shit like fiending for a non-alcoholic beer. Like being like, I got to get me another one of these beers that don't do shit.
Yeah, I don't. What are you for? Yeah, we're back, everybody. What are you fiending for in that example? Because like you say fiending, you think because it's like I get fiending for a beer, but then to me, if you drink a non-alcoholic beer, you're gonna be like, I'm still fiending because this ain't the thing that I'm actually fiending for.
No, I just love beer. I really love it. I love and I might not have another one today, but like I associate drinking beer with talking to my friends and especially in a comedy setting. So like even though I'm not getting the buzz, which I mean I totally am because I had whichever one of our weed sponsors this week or last week's, I took a little bit of that, but like I still feel like I'm, having beers with the boys and those endorphins hit. And I just love the taste. I love the taste of beer battered stuff, beer cheese, just beer and some chili. I love beer.
I love those last three things a lot too, and I don't not love beer, but like beer battered like fish.
No good.
No, I love it. Absolutely
Yeah.
love it. But I'm not really. You taste the beer and beer battered fish.
No, I was just saying stuff. It just
Right.
was,
Okay.
it just went together,
Beer
Lakers
cheese
in five.
sometimes, depending on the beer cheese, I do feel
If
like
it's made with a stout,
you can pick up
Yeah.
actual some of the beer in it, but whatever. But
in Helen, which I wrote about in our book around here and over yonder, which by the way points for us because what does everybody want to make nowadays? IP. This podcast and that book is IP. We've got IP, brother. We've already
right,
got
for
the
fish,
IP.
yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
In Helen, they had a beer cheese because they're a German town type thing. They had a beer cheese and it was made with a chocolate double porter, and
Yep.
you could really taste it. But I mean that in a good way. Like it was good shit. It's my favorite chapter to write for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, that does hit. I don't remember what we were talking about before you had to go get a non-alcoholic beer. Just
Yeah,
that
I
show,
just
just having to
needed
do
it.
that show. Yeah.
Yeah, just we doing that show, and also we did mention something about that type of hold on, let me pull up my notes here. I did have a topic just in case. You
I've got
mentioned
I mean, I have a brief story I could tell you if you
please
want.
tell me the brief story, and then I've got a little thing on some of the stuff that we might not be allowed to do.
Legendary story in Canada, at least as I understand it. Toronto
Or
specifically.
Toronto.
You ever heard of a guy named Gary Hoy?
Gary Hoy.
Hoy.
Gary Hoy. No, is he a Canadian-born Chinese person?
I believe that you are right about that. Well, I don't know if he's full Chinese. He might be half and half or mixed race or something. I believe he's some kind of Asian descent, but a Canadian man. He was a partner at a Toronto law firm.
Oh yeah,
that had offices in a Toronto high rise in downtown Toronto, and this was in the 90s. It was in the early 90s, and he had this bit that he liked to do when they would bring around like new interns, like law interns or paralegals or young associates, like new people around there, or like students they give tours to and stuff, law students. He had this bit he'd like to do. We'd be like, "Hey, watch this," and it was also like showing off the engineering of this building. I guess he was real proud of the building code or whatever. Like,
right. He didn't design it. He just
welcome to the future. Like watch this, and he'd run and hurl his whole body into one of the office windows.
Okay, just because it's not supposed to break
and just bounce off of it.
Can I guess where this is?
He'd be like freaking me. Yeah, he'd be like freaking me. He'd be like, hey, check this out. And they'd be like, whatever. But then he'd just bounce harmlessly off of it. And he'd be like, yeah, they're built for that. They're indestructible. Like you can't. That's how they build these buildings nowadays. You can't. They basically can't be broken, pretty much. So he thought it was funny and everything would do that to freak these kids out and stuff. And I guess he did that over and over and
on
over
the same
again.
Window, because that's real stupid.
I don't know 100% but I think so, yeah, or something like that.
Fucking dumb.
And then, yeah, you'll never believe this, but one day he went to do it and it just popped right out, and he fell all the way down 25 stories to his death. Apparently,
Vaxxed.
Yeah. A structural engineer said at the time, I don't know of any building code in the world that would allow a 160-pound man to run up against glass repeatedly and withstand it. The shock of losing one of its most successful partners was a contributing factor in the decline and ultimate closing of the entire law firm only 3 years later in 1996, which at the time was the largest law firm closure in all of Canada. So this guy was like the hittingest lawyer in the country of Canada when he did this.
But man, like, it's almost like you would have preferred if the story was that he killed himself. You know, because like at least then it's like, oh, high pressure job, whatever, we will. But it's that he did the dumbest fucking thing in the world, and you can't be associated with people that dumb.
Well, do you think he had any solace in this whatsoever as he was plummeting? Because it's like, this is the type of thing that you would point out, I feel like. He always told him, he's like, our glass is unbreakable. This glass is unbreakable. Our glass, but the glass didn't break. It popped out of the frame.
Right.
So like he's falling all the way down, be like, well, I mean, I'm technically still right. Like, that's what you would be thinking. Be like, well, I mean, the glass didn't break. I'm not. Am I wrong? You're screaming back. Am I wrong? Was I wrong? The glass didn't break.
I've never thought about what the Chinese think when they're falling, but that's definitely what I would 100%. I would be trying to turn that glass into a glider just so I could get one more scream of like, bet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, technically correct. The best kind of correct, unless it results in your death.
But even then, I mean, you died doing what you loved.
Yep, being right about a pointless thing.
Yeah, why does that even, whatever?
Like, why would you, if you work in this office, like, why would that be such a, I got the impression it was like, he framed it as, hey, these windows are unbreakable. Isn't that cool? But really, it was about the thing. The bit of like watching these people's faces as he hurls himself into a high-rise window or whatever.
I mean, like, I bet that was kind of funny sometimes.
Right.
But like, to do all the time, to make that your thing, you know what I mean? Like, I bring the cookies. You know what I mean? I bring the cookies, and they're like, and this is Jeff. And he, once a day, actually, he takes off running at that window, and you think he's going to stop, but no, he jumps and bounces right off that window, and there's a 21-year-old intern that he's brought there for it, and she just starts screaming. And so, anyways, coffee room is back there. You know, that'd be an odd thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's apparently he's, like I said, like a bit of a legend in Canada to this day. But one other thing, because I know it would interest you. In fact, you may already know this. Don't get too excited, though. Let me go ahead and preface it with that. Apparently, and I guess this isn't surprising, something's got to be the oldest. But historians have a consensus on what they believe to be the world's oldest known or recorded joke. So the oldest joke that we know of. Obviously, before this time, humans had jokes and stuff, but this is like the oldest one that, again, is recorded that we have like evidence of. It's from 1900 BC, so almost 2,000 years before your boy Jesus.
Wow.
Comes from the ancient Sumerians. And then here, you know,
if Jesus wasn't already thing, then who did the comedians hate? You know what I mean?
Yeah. What did Jews spend their time doing? If not, you know, persecuting him or whatever. But yeah, actually, I don't even know if there was Jews yet. And
who knows?
No, I don't think so.
No,
1900 BC. I don't think it was any of them. I don't think that
2000 and late. You know what I mean?
That God, the Abrahamic God.
Yeah,
who's really caused a lot of shit over the years.
I tell you what,
I don't think he had clocked in yet in 1900. But
yeah, anyway,
the joke goes. Tell me what you think. Part of this I really like because it is so appropriate. 1900 BC, ancient Sumeria. The joke goes. Here is something which has never occurred since time immemorial. A young woman did not fart in her husband's lap. So
Okay, first off, I love
That it's a fart joke, right?
just
That's what I meant by appropriate. Like that
it's
couldn't be better. Yeah.
undeniable. It's like this was made up just to hit for me. I
Yeah.
would need you to repeat the joke again now that I know the cadence and I know what to look for.
Here's something which has never occurred since time immemorial. A young woman did not fart in her husband's lap. So there's
Well,
like double negatives going on. It's confusing.
there is a lot of double negatives. So what they're saying is forever young women have been farting in men's laps, and that has always been a thing.
Right.
That they do fart in their men's laps.
That's my interpretation of it too.
I'm gonna be disgusting here, but in trying to solve this was back when the time when it was not uncommon for a grown man to be with an 11-year-old girl, or whatever.
Yeah, and start a whole religion after that.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
So I don't think a lot of this was like adult women who know better, who just chose to be naughty and fart in their husband's lap. I think, especially because the word young wife was, I think that these girls were just farting because they were young kids and young kids fart and you shouldn't have them as your wife.
Yeah, well, that last part was definitely not the point. I'm not saying you're wrong about it, but they were.
Well, Mort Saul really brought in that type of comedy 3,000 years later. Of course, that wouldn't have been the point then.
This person claims on Reddit that the joke is saying that no girl has ever farted in her husband's lap because whenever it happens, they lie about it. They deny it.
Oh, okay. How could you deny that, though, if you're sitting on his dick? Like, I'd feel it.
Right. And also, that doesn't make sense to me because, again, it says, here's something that's never happened.
Right.
A woman doesn't fart. So that means they always fart. Doesn't mean that they don't fart.
Dude.
And then they're saying they don't fart because they just lie and pretend they didn't fart. But it ain't even saying they don't fart. It says that they always fart.
Dude, it must have fucking sucked living back in a time when nobody knew how to talk or write. You know what I mean? That had to blow.
Right. Yeah, for sure. But, I mean, that was most people, though, and it probably statistically would have been you, too. So you'd all just be dumb as fuck together. Somebody wrote this down, obviously.
Yeah, but not good. Not well. They didn't.
Well, we don't know that.
Or the joke just wasn't good.
Nah, well, that, too. It's probably, like you already said.
It's a context thing.
You're reading a modern novel right now that's translated from modern Chinese to modern English, and you're like, yeah, parts of it are weird, and they are weird. As someone who's read the books, they are, because
we need a Chinese person.
This is translated from a dead language 4,000 years ago. So, like, I don't think you can just assume that.
Well, we need to have
at the time were like talking all bad in their own language. It just doesn't translate well.
They were. Well, that's why they had to change it. We'd still be speaking the same shit if it hit the first time. You know what I mean?
Well, no. If they should have hit harder.
That's what I mean.
If they as a people had just stayed hitting forever and they conquered all the world or whatever, then we'd be speaking ancient Sumerian.
That's what I mean. They already hit harder.
You said that you made it sound like it's the language's fault.
I think it was. Most dead languages are because we killed all the people that it came out their mouth, so they must not have hit.
Right, but that don't mean the language didn't hit.
I'm just saying it would be really hard to form an army when nobody could fucking understand your jibber jabber. You know what I'm saying? Sitting here just hitting stuff with stones, being like, booga, booga, booga. Like that'd be hard to like mobilize a unit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So you're saying you think they lost all those wars because they didn't talk good?
Yeah, no walkie-talkies too. So like they were having to not talk good.
No one had long distances though.
Well, and imagine you got to write that.
You got to write birds and running jogging.
You got to
write. That's all you got.
You got to write some symbols on a thing and give it to a bird, and you think you're gonna fucking like.
Okay, but you're fighting people that also have bird-based communication.
Their letters looked different and more clear, though. You know what I mean?
Also, back then, at this time, this was like one of the only fucking languages there even were, I think.
Which is stupid to only have one. It's dumb that only one person had figured it out. These people
language.
were fucking idiots, is what I'm saying. I don't think anybody back then was smart. I'm not afraid to say it.
Okay.
I think that dude, honestly, pre 1912, I think everyone was a fucking idiot.
I mean, I've been saying that for years, but where I've ultimately landed on is I think it's just, and maybe this is just splitting hairs, maybe it's just saying the same thing and it doesn't matter, but is that you could have equally smart people back then. It's just they didn't have access to the knowledge that people who are born that smart today do.
I think Einstein was the first smart person.
Ever.
He started it. Yep.
Isaac Newton did not hit. Pythagoras didn't hit.
I mean, dude,
Pliny the Elder didn't hit for you, Joe.
Dude, listen. First off, Aristotle,
Socrates,
all that bitch did
Plato,
was Aristotle sat under a tree and got hit in the head with an apple. Oh my God, let's jerk off this motherfucker.
That was Isaac Newton.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I like that hobo one pretty good. But all the shit they're saying, like I've seen my 3-year-old get there without hearing none of it. You know what I mean? Like I've seen Bane understand any of the shit Marcus Aurelius wrote in his stupid little leather book. I've seen him just like figure it out. I've seen it in his eyes. It's innate in all of us. They was just saying stuff. They didn't know fucking shit till Albert Einstein came and literally saw like molecules in his head, split the goddamn atom. And since then, actually again, since 1912, when the Titanic exploded, I think that all those people were the right people to die. And it caused a lot of creation, you know, both in jobs and other people having to step up, use their brain. So 1912, then you got Einstein, and then Elon.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So what do you got?
Oh, I wanted to talk earlier about, we were talking about places they would never let us in. Have you ever heard of ice hotels? Have we spoken about ice hotels?
I have. Frankly, I don't know a lot about them. They do not appeal to me. I don't like cold. Cold don't hit for me.
Dude, I like cold fine, but like not in a situation where it don't belong. You know what I mean?
Wait, and yeah, you said ice hotel. So not like where they take Mexicans to be guarded by alligators.
No, not that. This is a place that people
hotel made out of ice.
Yeah, this is that people choose to do. The first ice hotel was built in 1989 in, I'm going to mispronounce this, but it's fine if I do because it's
Jukkasjärvi.
Yeah, Jukkasjärvi. How'd you know?
Jukkasjärvi.
How'd you know?
I just now Googled ice hotel.
Oh, I just thought you knew I was about to say something dumb, and you're like, "Here's something real dumb." Jukkasjärvi, Sweden, which is pretty close to the Arctic Circle, so pretty goddamn cold. It started as an art exhibit. These Japanese artists, built an igloo art gallery, and visitors there were just like, "We would like to sleep here," you know. And so they did, and just much like Japan does with everything, they know a good idea when they see it. You know what I mean? They were like, we should just build these things and charge people a lot of money to sleep in the ice. And in 1992, it started doing chapel weddings, and that was their big money maker. People will fly over there to get married in the ice, and it is wild the construction they have to do because the thing is, it goes away. Like every year it goes away because it's not always winter. So each year they use 5,000 tons of ice and 30,000 tons of, I've never heard this phrase, but snice, which we would call sleet, right? It's snow and ice mix, but they call it snice.
Well, that makes more sense than sleet, frankly. Snow and ice mixed.
It really does.
Yeah. I gotta give them the point on that one.
The ice is only harvested from the Torn River, which is supposed to be the cleanest in Europe. And each room in the chapel is redesigned annually by different artists. So it's not like cookie cutter, whatever. So the ice is also like insanely clear. Like you can basically see through all of it. So like, I don't know about privacy or anything. Absolute Vodka once paid the hotel to make a bar where even the glasses were ice So guests were drinking martinis out of cups that it's so dumb. It's so
Absolutely
dumb.
not. No interest whatsoever. What I have done. Have you ever been to like one of those like an ice gallery?
An ice room in Vegas or something like that.
Where it's a bunch of sculptures, but everything in there is made out of ice.
Mm-hmm.
We took the boys and Katie's whole family, and we all went to a Christmas one, and it was like cool or whatever. I wouldn't, no pun intended. I was fucking miserable the whole time.
Was you wearing a fur?
Because well, no, I didn't have a fur on, but I had a big jacket, like an actual winter coat, and I was like, because I was like, because this was in Tennessee, like, and I was like, obviously, I know it has to be like that
cold,
below freezing, but like, whatever, 31, 30 degrees is not like that bad or whatnot.
Right.
But it's like, we used to make freezers by just shoving a huge block of ice in a fucking box. Like a bunch of ice also makes shit colder.
Yeah, of course it does.
And so, like, I mean, it was, I don't know what the actual temperature was, but it was like brutally fucking cold in there to me. Katie's going to listen to this and just be like chuckling at how much of a pussy I am. Yeah. But like, but it, I mean, I did not care for it. So I have less than no interest in ever going to Yukasharvi and staying in this ice hotel.
Your nipples get real cold and like pointy.
Yeah, like that hurt. They hurt.
But I've never seen I've seen you cold, but I've never seen your nipples. Whereas my nipples, you can see at all times. And it's odd because my nipples are smaller than your nipples, and you'd think bigger nipples. Do you think it's because you have more surface area and I've got more point?
I have no idea. I just think not all nipples are created equal. I mean, in terms of like pokiness, I mean.
Did you know that I have a flathead and a Phillips head nipple?
No, I thought, okay. I thought you just meant like, but when you said flathead, I thought you just meant the B. And I was like, no, you don't.
No. I have my nipples. One of them is just one line through it like a flathead, and the other one is the two crisscross like a Phillips head.
Do you want people to just be investigating all your different parts all the time?
Yeah, man, I'm scared all the time, and I'm worried.
No, I mean, that'll probably keep you alive. That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I do the mastectomy. I've had and the testicle stuff because I've had buddies with all the types of cancer, so I notice stuff. Anyways, this thing is rebuilt every year in December. It seats 40 to 60 guests, all on blocks of ice. But don't worry, they put reindeer skin on it. And no two chapels are the same. Each year's design is unique. There's no microphones because electronics will freeze and you can't just be having all that stuff in there. The vows are spoken in near silence while everyone in there's teeth are just like just chattering like lunatics. The brides often wear thermal leggings. And the groom, they could be wearing like your fur like you do. The packages run from $20,000 to $40,000, which excludes travel and all the stuff. But like that, frankly, seems a little low to me. Even though like it's obviously not worth it, but you'd think anybody stupid enough to do this would pay more money. But there are add-ons, like you can get a husky sled to bring you to the place. You can get ice sculpted champagne towers. There's a snowmobile getaway, or even just like I did with my tiny horse, you can have a reindeer lead the profession. But mostly this is wealthy Europeans. Japanese couples do this. There's around 200 to 300 weddings per season at the Swedish Ice Hotel alone. Mainly it's oligarch kids, Scandinavian pop stars, and most of them also end up divorcing before their 10th anniversary. I don't know why that stat's in there. But it is. You're going to hate this. The guests sleep in rooms kept at -5 degrees Celsius.
My God, how?
That's 23 degrees Fahrenheit. But still.
Celsius is wild because
It don't make no sense. None of it does.
Well, it, you know,
I know
water freezes at 0 and boils at 100. That's a lot cleaner.
Yeah,
that makes sense. But if you're used to Fahrenheit, you hear like, I don't know these numbers. I'm gonna get them wrong. I'm an American raised with Fahrenheit, but I don't know these commie numbers. But like, they'll be like, God damn, it's hot out here. It's fucking 29 or whatever,
right.
you know. And you're like 29. That's cold, you know, to us. But -5. Our -5 is way colder than their -5.
Yes. This is where it confuses me because you'd think you're like
their 29 is way hotter than our.
I know that I'm about to sound stupid, but you're smart, and that's why I be vulnerable and I ask these things. Day 0 is freezing.
Yeah,
Hour 32 is freezing. So in my brain, I go, well, there's a 32-degree differential or whatever.
No.
But 1 Celsius itself is larger than 1 Fahrenheit.
1 Celsius. Yes.
Well, do you know what? That has to be the case though, because they can't equal the same thing.
But here's the problem. Here's why Fahrenheit is weird. It's water freezes at 0, boils at 100 in Celsius. There's a 100-degree difference. We have 32 to 212, so it's 180-degree difference. So that 100 Celsius degrees equals that 180 Fahrenheit degrees.
That's what I'm saying. So, day 1 Celsius is bigger.
It's not 1 to 1, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I know that, but you said it sounded stupid.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Burns automatic replay of Trae being like, "No, that ain't it." But 1 Celsius itself is larger than 1 Fahrenheit.
1 Celsius. Yes.
Well, do you know what? That has to be the case though, because they can't equal the same thing.
But here's the problem. Here's why Fahrenheit is weird. It's
you did it.
You started it by saying like, I look at that and I think, okay, there's a 32-degree difference, and that's when I said no. But then you kept going. Now, I'm saying the reason there isn't a 32-degree difference is because
one of them is bigger than one of the other ones.
Bigger, yeah. And it sucks because it's like it's not 1 to 1, but it's not 2 to 1 either. If it was just 2 to 1,
right? But what is it?
It's 1.8 to 1,
like pi or some shit.
You know, 180 to 100. Like our 180-degree range covers the same ground as their 100-degree range. So
while we're here,
it's 180% bigger. I don't fucking know.
While we're here, you know what I'm sick of? This whole like it's this, but it feels like this. Bitch, if it feels 105, it is 105. There's only one way for it to feel 105, and that is for it to be 105. And the only reason I care about the number is how it's going to feel to me. So however it feels, that's how hot it is. I say now.
Heat index, I think I'm completely with you because I don't get how it varies that much. But like,
wind chill's different because the wind could not always be blowing.
Because wind chill I think is fair because yes, the wind can die down. It might not always. So it might. And when the wind isn't blowing, it's 28. But when the wind's blowing, fuck, it feels like 5.
Yeah,
but
no, I'm fine with that.
The wind can come and go. So that's like that's fair enough. But like heat index, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty much with you. So
if you feel 105, it's 105.
Right.
Fuck you mean.
These but anyway, so people rent out this a group of people rents out this hotel to have a wedding or some kind of big event there, and then all the guests sleep in it that night.
Yeah, and they have thermal sleeping bags.
Well, thank God for that.
They have, but still, dude, fuck that.
Imagine waking up and having to pee.
Yeah, okay,
like that scenario.
Yeah, and guess what? I'm glad you said that. Bathroom. So you have to they have a separate bathroom, and it's not even in that place because they can't have any heat. You have to put on fucking snow boots,
reindeer furs.
You have to put on snow boots and walk outside to this outhouse just to pee.
Nope.
Sorry, that burp. They also consume about 10,000 candles per winter because that's the only, like, they get the ambient light from the camp. So you don't, no technology, no nothing. Like, you're not charging your phone and no ice block. And like, I'm not against going somewhere and like retreating and getting out of your headspace or whatever, but like not in a motherfucking cooler.
Yeah, I can get how it's like, mystical and beautiful and all that stuff, but I just wouldn't be able to think about anything else other than God fucking damn, I'm fucking freezing right now. Like that. So it just wouldn't, none of the rest of that shit would have any effect on me whatsoever. Cause I know, again, when we went to that, it was a beautiful ice gallery that we were in. Those sculptures were incredible. I just couldn't even, I could not make myself care the whole time because I was just physically so fucking uncomfortable. So
they also have to pour champagne really, really quickly before it just coagulates and freezes in the glass.
Course. Yeah.
And also, for that matter, you can't have beer. It's like literally everybody's just getting drunk
straight
on straight vodka because that's all you can have.
Well, that part hits.
That part does kind of does kind of hit. But yeah, anyways, that's all my stupid shit.
Well, that hits. We're about at time anyway. If you got any airmail for us.
I do got some airmail. I got some lovely, lovely airmail. Excuse me. Let me scroll down. Let's see. Okay, I got to read. This is another one that's technically for well read, but I think it'll hit for you, Trae. Subject line, really for well read. This is more for well read, but I don't know that you guys have an email to hit up that show. I wanted to express how much I appreciate Trae's story about the dogs of his youth. I have never laughed so hard, probably because it was as if somebody was telling a story of my own white trash youth. We went through so many dogs as kids, most of which met horrible demises. When I got married and my wife talked of getting a dog, she talked about 2, maybe 3 that her family had in her life. I then started a rundown of all of them that I had remember, and it had to have been 20 or more. We spent most of my youth living in a rural part of Indiana, but on a highway. So several found themselves splattered across that highway, put down, mauled by larger predatory dogs and whatnot. As such, I was mentally capable / prepared to see the dark hilarity of Trae's story. P.S. I was the big fat white guy at Trae's show in Indy back in 2024 that talked to him about my grandparents' place in Byrdstown, Tennessee.
Yeah, okay. That hits for me.
That does it for me. Kim Casada.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that, if y'all didn't listen to that well-read episode, it's like, again, people don't know. There's just 2 types of people, right? And it's like, and one type of people like hear all that and they're like, oh my God, this is the most horrific thing I've ever heard anyone say. And I'm laughing the whole time.
I do not belong to those type of people.
It's just like, and the other type of people are like, no, that's just how it is. Like, like people really don't get it.
They don't, man. If you said that in a Hollywood boardroom,
oh my God,
they would drag you out in fucking whatever them things are they put you in.
Yeah.
Kim Casado.
Dragger outers.
Is Corey suffering from roid rage? Greetings, oh masters of the Skuniverse. Sorry to hear that some may have perceived that Corey has experienced increased agitation of late, but those of us who've been around for years and have seen his mood fluctuate routinely hadn't really noticed.
That's so true.
Whatever.
All over the place.
Yeah. Lipid lowering agents like the class of drugs called the statins are not known to affect the mood specifically, but patients can have personal and individual symptoms to a single agent in a particular drug class. When patients get side effects from a particular drug, switching to a different drug in that same class can eliminate the side effect. A hemorrhoid is a swollen vein, not a ruptured blood vessel. Veins, unlike arteries, lack a muscle wall, so they will enlarge under pressure. Okay, I don't want to read too much about hemorrhoids because, as you can imagine, Kim has written a book here, which is fine, Kim. We appreciate you writing in. And she signs it as always. I never met a mucil I didn't like. Love y'all. Dr. Poop, medicine woman. Here's one. Subject, Georgia, Tennessee joke. Fellas, being comedians, you've probably heard this one, but maybe you haven't. A Georgia fan and a Tennessee fan are on death row and scheduled to be executed the same day. The day before the execution, the warden asks if they have a last request. The Tennessee fan requests that Rocky Top be played just before his execution. On hearing this, the Georgia fan makes his last request. Could you fucking kill me first?
Yep.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. That is a good one. And we'll end on this because we might have a couple things to say. I know I do. This is a subject line, live comedy question. Hey, Corey, reaching out with a question about watching live comedy. Probably not great for the pod. That's for me to decide, by the way. But I'm genuinely curious. Say your favorite comedian is coming to town for 5 shows, an early and late show on Friday and Saturday, and a final show on Sunday. As a comedian, which show would you pick to attend, knowing what a typical weekend gig is like and how each night generally goes? I've heard y'all talk about before about how crowds and energy can vary depending on timing of the show, and I'm curious to hear y'all's perspective. Yes, this is because Trae is coming to Dallas, and I need to decide when to buy tickets. Had a blast at your show in Fort Worth. Love you guys, and will come out any chance I get. Your Texas friend, Andy.
It's weird. I just got this exact same question from, I'm pretty sure it's a different person because I think it was a woman on my Patreon. But
obviously buy tickets for any show because it's Trae's show, but it's a running joke that late Friday's the worst. I mean, that's a running joke.
In fact, in a lot of places, and I don't think it applies to Dallas, but in a lot of places, I've just straight up stopped doing them.
They're not good oftentimes.
But that doesn't. Now I wish I hadn't even said that because it's like you're listening to Dallas, like fucking come to it and make it hit. Because I'm having that show, so please come to it and make it hit.
Usually, just people are too drunk or they're tired or whatever. Like, but you could. It's not every late show.
No, sometimes they're great.
If you have to rank them, then rank them.
I'm right. Here's the order that I would go in with that weekend setup: 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, and a Sunday. I would go Saturday early first. Probably Friday early second, then Saturday late, then Sunday, then Friday late. Is the order that I would
That is the order.
Yeah.
That is the order.
But again, that's not hard and fast though. You could be it can go.
I've had some of the greatest shows of my life Friday late.
Right. Yeah.
I've had some of the worst shows of my life Saturday early, which is supposed to be normal. Like you don't know. It's just like there is an answer, from data.
Right.
But hey, go see all of those shows that Trae is doing at TraeCrowder.com, correct? You're going to be everywhere.
Yeah, TraeCrowder.com. I got Ohio next week, and then Virginia, and then like a bunch of cities in both of those states, and then Milwaukee, Madison, Dallas, Oklahoma City, Nashville with Corey and Drew at the end of the year, right before Christmas at Zany's, our favorite club, as we do every year. It's always a great time. And then after that, there's like Sacramento, the Wilmington, Spartanburg, all over the place. Go to TraeCrowder.com.
Go to WeLoveCorey.com where you can find all my bonus stuff. Like we're on season 2 of Public Domain Sleepy Time Theater. We're reading Frankenstein. And also, before it goes out to everybody, I've just put up the mini-sode pilot of my new podcast, 4 Beers. So you can go enjoy that. WeLoveCorey.com. Also, book me on Cameo or whatever you do. And stay fancy, motherfuckers.
Skew-wee.
Here's Lydia Lovelace.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at putting on airs, putting on airs, putting on airs.